I was just connecting to Michael, Guardians of the Galaxy, with Father Space and Mother Earth. We want the communication to high system locations, how you can channel your light center at 449, 450 on your computer, and everything through all position locations 446. As long as you stay in the four category, you're fine. But anything that's in five line center to its position of time frame, the clocking system is faster. So you have to change your clocking center to time position because each position to your clocking system is your calculations. As a trainee saying you come into that position, right? So it's all about line signaling everything to that position of balance. Balance to your phone, your digital pads, or anything to your computers. That's the trainee saying you come in that position. So how's everybody doing so far? Tina, how's it going? Don, very powerful private sector we had today. We got a lot of things done. Steph, Veronica, Taryn, Brandu. All right. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen today, guys. Trying to understand your connections. It's really powerful. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to travel through a wormhole, and I'm going to keep you in the center position. So what am I going to do? I'm going to stop time. I'm going to stop your perceptions. You guys are going to concentrate on your breathings. Make sure you have your water. Make sure you have your notepads. You have to really understand when you come into emergencies, know how to get out of situations back in formation. It's all done through calculations, guys. The true understanding. I go through this, you go through this. You get in position locations and you're floating in space. It's kind of like when you get into your parachute and you have your canopy, that's all you have left. You have a parachute, you don't know how to use it, you got your canopy. If you don't know how to use that, what's going to happen? Right? There you go. So that's a Trinity standing coming in position to that conditions, right? So today we're going to cross signals. You're going to vortex and loop, right? You're going to go through 4 line loops in position to a box line center. It's going to open all dimensional door line center rotation interference, all levels of GFLs in the rebellion. Everybody that's in position locations, the high line conditions of the observers, or anybody that's new, will just start to remember who they are through the positions, how to breathe, right? So the higher channels will come more into the breathing apparatus, and the lower channel, the vibrations, which has come into more of its avatar, it's breathing. Really get in position how to breathe. All right. Breathing is not just through anything through activation, it's you through calculations. It's all you through travel. It's all through you through metric. It's all through you through position. You have to learn how to do these things through calculations, guys. All right. So center line, position line interference, position of breathing mechanism, travel line conditions, GFLs, and rebellion. Get them in the synchronized center. Set the position locations. All right. So we're going to go through realms. Okay. So you're going to go through portal line surface. Start off with that line conditions, right? You're going to go loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop in that conditions, right? Surfing center out of center. So it's like a tornado, wind spin top line interference. Turn stand at five position locations of tornadoes in highline center in calculation to its condition. It's the same thing with dimensions and portals. You have to turn the stand how to travel through all levels of wormholes. Okay, so you're going to vortex through. I'm going to keep you in the center line center rotation. You're going to go swoop in position downline center, security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In position to locations to that condition. All right. So that's going to open up another circle line center rotation. So I'm vortexing your particle light interference into high line center to all levels of track location at point system line conditions, 12 line center rotations. I really want to keep you in your 12 because if I go into a higher position in the atmospheres, your breathing mechanisms of travels change the apparatus to your heat signature patterns. Next week, we'll get into your body track locations of weather and heat signature line condition interference in program setting position to its conditions, right? This channel operation to its line system, okay? Allocate times, position location, GFLs to the rebellion. Set the core system in the breathing apparatus at line center. Center positions, trap them in the center rotation to the realms of their portal locations. High positions, count down. High position locations, 20 minutes into high line conditions. Put in the center up position to calculation system. All right, so you guys are near this position. 30 minutes. Have fun. All right, so you went in circle. Here's the portal. Coming in position location. Coming in channel line center into there. Trapped you in the cycle. You have to learn how to get out in position by getting into the proper breathing. Atmospheres has different breathing channels. It's done through your clocking system. Understand communication on your computers, your digital pads, or anything your phones. You have to center line, position, location. As long as you stay in the center operation positions to your breathing apparatus, you'll be totally fine through calculations. Right? So once you get in your breathing mechanism of travels, the DNA of the force line center will take you out of vortex position, and it'll take you out of track line center. You'll slide through this position line conditions out through equation. All right? 20 minutes. Have fun. Whee! All right, so for new viewers, I want to keep the rebellion on their tippy toes. So in that connections, when it comes into new viewers, try to get into the core. A core is you through the stomach line. So the bottom of you is the grounds. The security of you is the balance. So you're balancing frequencies of line connections, right? Interposition locations take up all levels of your line and rotation, right? So now in calculations, if I don't do that, you hear nothing but computers of space in that position. So it's kind of like you hear an echo in a connection. It's trying to understand where you are through travel because of time. So every time I travel through breathing mechanisms of travel location. So when I'm surfing some position, if I'm going through an XT1000 line center, right, I understand all levels of frequency locations because it's traveling through all zipping cross interference. You know, zip line center, zip zap zoom, up positions, down position lines, cross line connections, all positions you can go. Initiation, Echo Zulu, 1, right? Charlie, Fox, Trot. You have to understand these positions because it's codes. It's all position, location, out in a series of you through calculations. But once you get into your breathing, you start off at the core and you work your way up. So it's all about channeling low, right? Get into rhythm. See, that's it. Different rhythm patterns, right? It's like keyboards, you know? Hold the frequency. See, it's echo. It's an echo. This is my space. This is my time, right? So I'm just trying to show you what happens when I take out my earplugs. You hear an echo. That's space that I've already created through breathing, traveling through all levels, whistling Dixie with wind. What? So truly understand your connections, right? It's all through sounds. It's all through metric. It's all through rhythm. It's all through heartbeats. Oxygen, right? So something's gone up, bring it down. Back in sequence, right? You see Lotus do that when he does his weather and his coordinates, right? So you also can do a hum in that position. So it's sequencing the level, balance, location, the heart. Heart is position, location. Once you understand the heart is a computer, we'll go into the center line position to heat signature patterns where you get into high position locations. So when I center my heart is here positions, right? So I just touch it through the line center and it activates. See? That's the true understanding when you come into position where you are through travel of time position. So it's very powerful when you connect to that system. See how it activates? That's a true understanding. That's a calculation when it comes into balance. If there's no balance, it's not hearing anything inside. But once it gets back into balance, it activates. See? That's a true understanding. You guys got to come into all levels of where your heart is. How many times it palpitates a day? You have 24 hours, 7 days a week. How many times does it travel through palpitation? That means how many times does it palpitate? So when you change the frequencies, you're changing your what? Your vibration. Or right? And you also know if you're in the hospital, flatline, right? So that's a true understanding that you don't want to come to that position, okay? Because that's a heart monitor, and that heart monitor will put you in position location, your impulse, You have impulses here and here and here and here, here and here and here in position location, here and here and two behind here. These are all impulses. And you have 2 on your ankles. And you have 2 on your back. Okay? So that's the Trinity standing where all the impulses are. Those are breathing mechanisms that travel in time. Now, when you come into that position location, you come more into your avatar position. Okay? That's the Trinity standing, what you're seeing through all levels of observation. So breathing is a very powerful thing. You can line signal across. Right? You can line signal back. See that? 2 different line signals, 2 different sounds. It's not the same sound, is it? Going up, going down, going up, going down, going up, going down. Now, if you're stuck in the middle, it'd be going up, going in the middle, trying to get back down, right? So you're okay. So you're grounding your system, your powers, but your clocking system is off position. So you come into a square, go back, reposition your clocking center, right? So now you got a square. Now you can circle rotation. Set up your security barriers. So really get into all levels. Breathing is an exercise of acting. Acting is position locations. You don't need to speak. Body is everything. You use your body before you talk, right? So this is all you do in acting. Act and then say something. So you're doing something before the action. I had to learn that because I was trying to say, what's he talking about? I should be speaking. You don't have to be speaking. Body is speaking. You're moving. You're communicating, but you don't have to voice anything. You just stand there. Your light is traveling at a certain speed. Mach, so many levels of your 12s, your 24s, your 48s, your 72s, or anything you want 44s, guys. That's the calculation where it comes into that modification cycle. Truly understanding breathing mechanisms of time. So it's just on a string. This is a string line center of string theory. That's an alarm, right? But it's going through right track to the left track location. It's all through imagination, right? I know these things because I know all sound. I broke the sound barriers of space. I have to understand these things. So it's using all your senses. Once you understand sound, then you come into feeling. Then you come into touch. Then you come awareness. Then you come into seeing. Then you come into hearing. Into that position, guys. Okay? So once you come into that, you come into your clairaudience, cecitine, and your voyance and the connections. It's all position of you once you remember these things through connections, right? Zipping up. Coming back. What was that? You know? What's that? What's this? Right? It's an XT1000 going by, right? But what's it doing? What's the sound? Why is it connecting to that sound, right? Sonar. Right? Beacon lights. Right? Sound barriers. Everything is space. It's all space of time. It goes through audio signal location. Breathing is always through the core first because you're working your way up and you're traveling to position your crown chakra to the sun. The sun is everything through position. So you're traveling every single day through the sun. And then once you go past the sun, now you're crevicing into space. And everything that you see is now all levels of sound. So when you really open up the signals, you basically, you don't have to close your eyes. You hear everything. You start hearing a car pulling up, people talking over there, chit-chatting. So it's like very mumbled, but you really connect. It's like hearing a hummingbird. I hear the wind flapping from the blind. I hear the light signals, all rotation position of planets. So it goes way beyond, way beyond, way beyond, way beyond. So every day you wake up, you go into audio signal, right? So you come into that positional locations. You come into frequency locations to its conditions. Everything through high line center has communication. That's communication of weather. It's flapping, still communication. It's lights. It travels the direction of time. So it's sure they understand how to use their breathing. Breathe is everything, right? Get into the core, right? So when you get in that position, here's a door, here's a dimension, here's a time, here's a lock, right? So you're taking it off, right? Now it's going. So you're using rhythm patterns, right? Through pattern line interference to string theory. So you're really connecting. You get really into the imagination of the inner child. So the more you travel in space, you're seeing planets, right? Anything through all position location. If you don't identify yourself, the magnetic line channel, its worst position line condition, the planet's going to wheel you in. Right? So you're stuck until you identify yourself, right? So is truly understand how to use your eyes, your ears, and everything, your voice in grid locations. It's all done through your 12 DNA track system. Your coloration panels, anything germing line center, everything through shape, position, location helps you and always informs this position. So breathing is everything, right? So this is all levels of healing. Healing your activation line center. If your shoulder is off position, you just change the position line conditions, right? See, it's telling you exactly what it's doing. You know, if you don't understand the position, you're not going to hear anything. So it's really communicating to the vibration of the body. So what level are you at? Are you at? What level are you at through energy? So if somebody touches you, that's electricity, right? Energy manipulation is everything through connections, right? Anything through forestry, anything through plants, anything through chair, anything that I touch. 3 different vibrations, 3 triangle line centers, all position location, my phone, my position, my digital pad, and my computer. Balance right there through clocking, right? You have to understand how powerful it is when you get into your own breathing mechanism of travel, but you have to stand through all levels of the core. It's the mothership of travel. It keeps you on the ground line center. So you all go in position, or you get in quantum entanglements to coloration patterns, all through voicing channel, guys. That's a true understanding when you come into calculation, right? When you get digital line center. 2V vector line. This is a vector line, right? So you can strip line position a finger up through equation, or you go back, right? So that's a calculation of positions, right? Positions of the moon, position of the sun, positions of the moon and the sun, right? 5-point line center, barcode line center rotation, right? Graph interference, okay? Setting the code signals. It's all travel. That's all it is. So you have to be very, very connected to all levels of you through breathing. Breathing is not just Find different ways of rhythms and patterns. Go through the alphabetical system in your new program setting to new body to new avatar position locations. Alphabet all the way through to weather. That's how you communicate to nature. That's how you communicate to grounds of clocking. That's how you communicate to avatar. That's how you communicate to UFOs. All right? All through breathing. Okay? So it's not just hum daddy. If you don't understand the hum daddy, right? Om pariyam. Yeah, that's great and fine and dandy. You go position locations, you go like this with Bashar. You have to understand what that is. That's a symbol of him. That's a symbol of him. Some people do this. Some people do this. Some people do this. Whatever you want to do, as long as it's open palm. Not like this. Not like this. Not like this. It's always open palm, right? Because you're sending out signals, right? So it's kind of like catching something. For example, you got an electrical ball you're creating through a planet system. Center our position, throw it in position. You can have it in the air, keep it rotating. Get it back down in position, set up a triangle line center. Right? Out of the equation. Out. So your imagination runs wild. I'm showing you how you use your hands formation to all three voice and grid line centers, all position locations, 8 atmosphere line center to position location of the moon. Once you get one moon position, another moon in position, you put it together. Okay, you got the sun position. There's your triangle line center in position locations, right? So you can change your weather line center. Now, as soon as you do this, what are you doing? You're rotating, right? What are you rotating? Your flux capacitor. See what's happening? What's happening in the flux capacitor line connection of the channel? What's it doing? It's surfacing back and forth, right? So it's like you're trying to counter measures of what you're doing with your throat patterns, right? So it's all about understanding water and how it flows and how it crashes. So it's really get into the audio line center location. So when you're on a trip, truly get into the eye position, get into your voice line center and all position locations, all levels of your commanding system locations. You have to understand what you're doing with the identification. Right? This is together. Right? Not there's separation there. So once you put it together, it locks in. So really get into the imagination of your hands and your finger point locations to its conditions. It's all done through travel. But it's got to signal to the right location. Now, if it's opposition, let's say it's in 4 line centers, 5 position line conditions, and wants to travel the direction of time center. This is off signal. So it's going to go. There's a whole story frame right there, just in emotion and communication and relationships of yourself and your avatar position. I'm just showing you what you can do with your fingers and how everything is intelligence. All different through clocking center locations. It's amazing what you can do through travel. And this is all done through breathing, guys. And it's all done through your core, right? So you really have to understand the colorations of its core. So what in position through your breathing line center, what are you connecting with your color locations, your third eye position line conditions? So when you're touching yourself, what are you doing? Right? You're connecting. You're connecting inside, right? So it's connecting to you, right? So the heart is very powerful. You don't need to touch it. It just has to understand what you do with your energy, right? So when it's connecting, it's going to activate. So it comes faster and faster. And when you balance everything, you can touch it without any problem. So it's just trying to get to know you, to the grounds, power, and the atmospheres of you through breathing, because you have to understand that vibration is changing every single time, right? What does an elevator do? It goes up and down, right? An escalator. How many weather patterns are in that harmonics? 150,000 line center rotations in 1 second per minute. That's a lot of harmonic locations all through light signal, light pattern, interference position, a Y factor line, center rotation, interference line position. Where are you in your body track locations? Okay. So do you want to be a Y position line center off track, or do you want to be a Y position of standing position line condition? Right. So it's all about surfacing through all levels of energy. So every time you touch yourself, you really are connecting to your system. You can set up a wind cycling, try to get into your imagination. You're creating energy, you're building up energy. That's what you're doing, right? And every time you create energy, what does it do? It's creating you inside through vibration, right? So you can understand. So what are you doing? You're using your imagination, you're creating these things, and it becomes extremely real, okay, to its position. Because everything outside is nothing but vibration. But to understand everything outside is to understand you first inside. Once you understand yourself inside, everything outside becomes clear. So if I touch my phone, I know the vibration right away. So my heart has to send the signal. If it doesn't, I get miscalculation. My phone goes. So that's the true understanding where it comes into glitching. And that's why you guys can't see me, because you don't communicate your voice grid locations. Breathing is not just breathing. Breathing is activation to all levels of space-time. Okay? So that's a true understanding. If I touch my computer, right, it's energy that goes into me. So the computer is reading signals and position of patterns, right? So it's really interesting when it comes across that signal. So it knows exactly where you are through positional time positioning keyboards. And it gets on very easy line position. You go P A D F E G T H Y U I O P. So it's going, it's going. So once you get into that position, you get into weather, and that's how you communicate to galaxies. That's how you communicate with anything through weather, hurricanes and that conditions. You can't center off position locations and go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's your physical line. So how are you supposed to communicate with nature if you don't understand your avatar of breathing, right? So that's a true understanding. It line strips everything to position locations, all levels of your phone, your computers, and your digital pad line center and position locations, right? So I'm just showing you what breathing does for you, the mechanisms of travel through position locations, and how you use the right clocking to its mechanisms. The breathing apparatus is extremely powerful when you come into positions, right? So you can get into light signals. It's very powerful. So it's like laser tag to one finger to another finger. It's like having a lot of fun. Get into inner child. It's like connecting to one position to the other line conditions. You got the right line center, you get the left position locations, and you're ready to go. And then you can actually see the light going through from one finger to the other finger. You actually can see the electrical bolts. And then you can see the atom that you're creating in the center, right? And then you can turn and shift. So you go from here and you, right? So if you want to spin it, you have to know what you're doing through the center position, right? Do you want the atom to spin, right? So if you spin the atom, right, you have to land the line in position locations barcode from the center position to the center position of bottom and top in position, activate the heart position line conditions, inner lines its conditions, pattern interference position. So it's right, and the atom spins, right, and you can center it off, right? So, boom, I just created an atom and sent it off to space. So that's what I do. Breathing is not breathing. Breathing is activation. So, and that's where you come into positions of your elixirs. You come into all levels of your throat, how to use your position locations. Your clarities has to be clear. Cleansing the throat is very important stuff. Okay, especially when you get into your water, your intake, how fast you travel with that position location. You're clocking anything that colors and light conditions. So breathing is extremely, extremely powerful in activation, because you're traveling every single day, second per second, even millimeter, half a millimeter, or even 1/3 of a millimeter of a second, even 1 centimeter of a second. How fast are you traveling through your breathing mechanisms of position? That's a true sum through calculations, right? So you really have to get information. If I want to touch my glasses, Right? That's eternity standing, where it is through sound. So when you want to get balanced, you got to find position locations, inner line connection. Then you can touch them. So that's eternity standing, that you get into so many levels of spiritual connection, right, to your simulation, because you're in a game. You're in a hologram. You're in a structure, and you're trying to connect your avatar to everything. So when you're in position of compilation, like you guys did today with the 1,000 position of point center locations of TV receptions, you're connecting to everything all at once in 1 second. 1 second. Okay, and imagine how fast that is. 1 second. 1 second. How many times can you travel in 1 second? Within 60 seconds in a minute. So that's eternity standing your clocking system where you are through calculations, right? As long as you're on point view, your position location, your phone is at the high position, your computer's at the high position, and your digital pad's at the high position, you have no problem. But if there's a low frequency of a clocking center that's opposition, you're going to have a problem. There's glitching line interference. You guys are coming into your spiritual adaptations. Now, for all the new viewers, just try to get into the core of breathing. Breathing is extremely important to that position. Okay? See how many times you can stay up. Don't just go. Find different ways. Get into different apparatus. Get into different oxygens. Get into different speed. Get into different clocking. Get into different intelligence. Different coloration, different light, different travel. Right? In position locations, you will get dizzy. You will get dizzy because what? You're not grounded. You have to be grounded in the mind, not where you are in perception of your grounds of where you are through the earth. That's the problem with everybody, is that you think you're surfacing to everybody else's perception. No, you are going through your own perception of time as space. It's the alignment that everybody is in position to that location. There is no separation to that position anymore. But the mind has to get the grounds of its breathing of its ground position, which is through your thought of imagination to your connections. That's how you create these things, through imagination. All right? So it's all about understanding these things. You see me for who I am, but that's not me. I know who I am. So that's the Trinity, standing to understand these things, to understand the core of you, the activation of you, the sovereignty of you, the freedom of you, the life of you, the abundance of you, the surrender of you. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Yes, breathing is position location of sonar. It's everything through gamma interference, as I understand radio signals. General here. Getting calculation frequencies, right? Getting balance. Or you can slow down position. So you're trying to find the frequency. You're trying to find your energy. And then you got harmonics. So we really, really, really have to get into the flow direction of time, right? So you have to learn how to use your breathing in all levels of what you do through travel. And it has to be connected to all levels of you through the core. The core is direction of time through its grounds, which is brown, your security level, which is red, orange is position location when it comes in your sacral, and everything through yellow is your solar plex. Those are the positions that you have to stand before you go to higher levels of breathing. It's all about going to the higher levels and going in position location. Your fluctuation line position is all you through clocking system. Your coloration channel is everything through your diamond core line center. It's all levels of you through northwest, south, and east to its conditions, right? So you do a line strip. Simple. Cross signal. Right? Diamond core position. There. Right there. Done. Right? Activate it. Right? I send it to you. Simple, easy, done. right? Know what you're doing before knowing what you're doing. Precognition, right? Time the sequence of position of what you're doing through breathing, right? Understand all levels of going up, going down, going up, going down. Simple. Line cross, line up, line angle. So if you're lining angle, you're going up, 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 right? So the same thing. It's about the acceleration going up and the decelerating. So you're going this way, and you're going to merge off. Okay, so you're going. You're merging off, right? So you really have to channel off. So it's like cutting things off when you're breathing. You get into calculate your teleportation units, how you get into all levels of this, the position, right? It's all positioning you, trying to use your throttles, communication and position line connections. So when you're traveling through wormhole, you really have to connect it to all levels through universal location of sonar. Anything through gamma, anything through vibration, anything through the connections of radio signals. It's all about balance and energy, frequency, and vibrations, connecting to all levels of vibration to that connections, right? Especially when you come into all levels. Sonar is very, very powerful. Goes up and goes down. Satellites are set in position. Sends out signals, right? So we really have to pay attention to everything around us and not what everything is outside. Everything inside is their position location. It's our understanding everything through the box of the inline center and nothing outside position locations. Because if you look at a box from outside, you're not going to see anything through AI. Everything through AI is from inside out. We have done this before on so many levels. Okay, if you want a structural line center, fifth dimensional lock interference position location of 3 line connections, you have to send all levels of 3, 6, and 9. Done. Circle location. Send it out through equation. 12 line center. Travel through it. Done. See? Very simple, very easy. So I can do structures in the atmospheres from my finger lines, or I can do anything through a digital pad line center. Right? Everything is light. See? See the reflection? See the reflection in the back? Everything is frame. Everything is calculated. Everything is modified. Everything is balanced. The male and the female aspects of everything through voice grid line connections. So you have to look at your computers. Split it down the line center. You got your left track and you got your right track. Now that's position locations of voice, right? So you have to understand the right side of the computer and the left side of the computer. The computer is not whole until you understand the male and the female aspects of its computer keyboard. It's positioned to you through the allocate time system. It's really powerful. You connect to that system. Once you understand your computers, you can understand the keyboards. You can understand the F1s and the F2. Those are flight navigation signals. You can also connect to the space bar, controlling, Alt, Shift, the caps, the tab. You become a computer, right? Computers have voice, right? Same with your GPS, So it's all about if you're getting stuck in a car and it's rerouting you, right? It's going to reroute you all the time until you change position, change location. Your computer of your phone will change its connection, which means it changes its direction, right? It's rerouting you, reprogramming you, right? Rerunning you, okay? So that's a turn understanding how to use your phone. You know how to use your phone, but you have to understand it's all levels of a computer. See, it's all levels of computer, right? Everything through light. So this is on the other side, but it still has that connection, right? Always has light. Always has light. Even this here, see that light goes off? That's communication alone. So this light is communicating to the computer. That computer is communicating to the phone, right? It's sending out signals. See how it pauses? See? So it's how many times is that pausing? How many channels is that skipping through light? So we have to pay attention to these things because you have to redirect, reform, recalculate, reprogram your system. all levels what a phone is. Not just say, oh, its light is blinking. That's cool. No, it's teleportation. That's communication from me to you to me, to the sun, to position of the moon, or anything through its planet. It's all connection through its position. How many light signals that is set off? Right? It's jumping timelines, right? So you have to stand position to its locations. So it's a lot of fun, isn't it, what breathing is? And giving you a better example how to get into it. So all breathe, yep. I've now become the breath, yep. Yep. I'm just showing you so many different ways how you guys can get more in your inner child. Not just through structure, not just through the mind, not through activation, through breathing. You use your voice every day. Use sounds. You know? Bubbles. Right? What does it sound like? Really pay attention to these things. You open up your ears, open up your eyes, open up your mouth, get in your command system, right? Dripping water. So it's all about understanding that position, you know? Fire. The crackling, the fire, seeing the fire, how it crackles. Get into that, the water. Putting out the fire. Gone, right? Really get into that. Air. Right? Now, grounds, it's all ripple. It's all about clockings of ripple, all position locations, right? So it's just grounds of ripple. It's grounds, so it has a grumbling sound. So the vortex connections, right? So it has that position to its calculations. So hold on a second, guys. I think you guys are understanding how important it is to understand your sonar of your ears, everything through your eyes, a perception, because everything is sound. You wake up, you hear the alarm, that's sound. Try to copy that. It's fascinating when you pick up these things. You see things in a different way. Right? You know? Sounds of a cat, sounds of a dog, right? Right? So really pick up that. What is the cat saying? What is the dog saying? What does it want? Since you come into animal telepathy, understand positions of, anything through motorcycle. It's just truly understanding the motor, understanding the engine, understanding cars, understanding electronics of cars, understanding the battery, understanding lights, popping circuits, right? So that's a true understanding, you guys. Creaking doors, right? Opening up a door, these things you pick up, So it's all about understanding footsteps. You just try to get into information of your ears of what you're hearing, because once you wake up, you start connecting to you or levels of space. So you come into more of an expansion. So it just expands and expands and expands and opens up more and more and more. And then your ears really connect to all levels. And once that avatar gets better positioned, it knows exactly what it's doing through its ears, its eyes, and its voice, through its commands. It's all recognition of time and space when you come into the flow of everything, guys. Okay? Flowing through your phones. your computers and your digital pads. Get into the direction and seeing things in a different way, especially when you come into audio interference. When I broke space and time in digital locations just with my voice, it was unbelievable. Breaking space of time through audio interference, it was unbelievable. Breaking the barriers, okay? And then I started connecting to the voice, and then I started understanding weather, and then understanding galaxies and how it's connected to the digital system. So if you want to create anything through numbers, you go through the atmospheres of channeling, signatures, locations, setting up 7 positions, right? So instead of doing this, you go, or do an 8, or do a 9, right? Or a box. Very powerful, isn't it? Energy formulates on everything, but you have to understand the energy manipulation of everything through voice channel, because it's all levels of you through energy, position, location, and frequencies. Understanding all levels of you through calculations, right? Because every single day you get up, you are traveling in the mind through audio, through sound. It's picking up other sounds from other places. Whoa, what was that? Whoa, what's that over there? So you're going to fly over there, pick up the sound. So you know exactly if you come across that, oh, I already know what it is. It's a solar light interference. Boom. So you're protecting yourself when you come across these things because you understand the sound. Until you understand, you see another sound. Oh, okay, that's just a light interference position to a meteor. Done. So you know what that is. You understand? That's what I mean by space travel through audio, through breaking sound, through your position of breathing. Breathing is activation. Breathing is not breathing. So you have to breathe. Yes, I'm breathing now, but I'm connected to everything. All right. So that's eternity standing when you see these things. You know? So Z, 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 Z. Yeah. Light around you. Yeah, I know. Musical. Yeah. Instrument. That's what you got to, yeah. So when you're traveling in space, you're picking up sounds and you're trying to identify it. And then you're like, oh, I understand that wave. That's cool. So if that wave comes by, right, you understand what it is. So if it's a higher tone, it'll be right? Or if it's a line signal, it'll just be straight across. There's 3 different ones right there, 3 different waves. So every time you go into space, you know exactly what they are. So you're aware and you're protected to all position locations, and you don't have to worry about these things because you understand the sound of its connection. You're just identifying different levels of sound, guys. Okay? Rhythm patterns or anything that position to its connections. All right. Very magical when you come in that position. Yeah. Breathing through the nose, beneficial. Yep. Studies. Yeah. Well, that's easy. Right? Right? That's space, but that's through my nose. You guys have to really get into identifications here. That's eternity standing, right? So you really have to get into that. When I was a kid, I used to watch cartoons all the time, and I found it very fascinating was connecting to all levels of the Roadrunner. Beep, you know, and the Coyote, how he's always trying to get in positions, try to take down the Roadrunner. But I always found a way to look at what they do, you know? There's sound. Sound is everything. And that's what humanity has to come into. They have to start identifying everything that they see. Really understand everything that you see around you inside, which connects everything outside. Right? So the more you pick up sound, the more you can protect yourself around position. Right? And you know exactly what you're up against when you see these things in space. Right? So, well, I'm just trying to help you out what breathing is through the mind perception. So, Jenna, how's it going? Throat chakra, freedom. Yep. Coming to that position. Yeah. Yep. Breathing is number 1, guys. Really, if you really want to get into better positions, because once you connect to that, XT1000 comes in and knows, oh, okay, he understands the frequency. If you get balanced with that frequency, you never know what you're doing through light. Be cautious in that, because the next 2,000 will scan you. I say, okay, what are you doing? So never cry wolf. Never send out signals if you're not aware. Don't do that. All right? So breathing is movement. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like understanding weather, right? It's like I made a story frame of weather right there for you guys in a matter of minutes, seconds, right? There you go. Get into your story frames of breathing. All right? This is going past in position. Rebellion has to get into that if you want to understand weather. To understand weather is to understand source of you. That way you can track these systems. Okay, so you understand that you're catching it before it forms its system through its tunnel, right? So you have to understand low gravity comes into dark line center. You have the ground position, which is a source, and you get electrical light that's in position. So electrical rod. So what happens is it lights a signal location of the top into the bottom, which creates a funnel. The electrical light in the position location centers its position of its tunnel, and it forms a line condition. So they're spinning a glass, and you see a tunnel form. So it's on saying how to reverse it and to make it go away. But that's a whole different operation. So instead of going forward, you go back, right? So if you're going through this position, you go back. And that, what does it do? That deteriorates the wind, right? Which is really powerful. Now you just have to send the coloration of where it's coming from. You have to send the operation to the soil, how the electrical light was set up, what time it was in position line connected, where is it connected to its galaxy? Is it vortex into the line center? Where is it position, location, nature? It gets complicated, guys. Really, really complicated. But you have to pay attention to these things because it's all about understanding you. Once you get in position to understand that, especially when you come into the rebellion and the JFLs and everything observers, is then when you open up more of your ears, you hear people praying. I say, whoa, where's that coming from? Oh, no, that's okay. That's just a community system over there in the high center position, northwest, southeast. And then you hear, different voices. And I say, whoa, am I going crazy? No, your ears are opening up more and more and more and more. You just got to get balanced with everything through frequency. That's all you got to do. Now, these things take time. Whether you understand that or not, it's totally up to you, right? So, and that's where it comes into all levels of channel, all position locations of your ears, right? How to understand your eyes. What are your eyes mean to you? What are your ears mean to you? And what does your voice mean to you? What does your chakra mean to you? What does your space and time and travel and your avatar mean to you? What is your body? What is your soul? What is your activation? What are your lights? What does your intelligence mean to you? It all comes into all levels of you through breathing. Okay? So, keep an eye on system. And thing is, too, when you guys are trying for my space time, you hear these things. You kind of like connect all the colors and lights. You see in opposition line connections, So that's a true understanding when you come into that. John is the connections where he comes into rhythm patterns. Not bad. I'm not a drummer, but I pick up very fast the frequency of balance. Right? That's what it is. That's the balance you guys got to get. So when John is on the acoustics and he's doing his drums, you have to understand the tambourine, right? The drums, okay? That's a rhythm, that's a beat, that's a rhythm, that's a beat, that's a rhythm, and that's a beat that keeps going, right? So it's kind of like rapping, right? Rapping is rhythm, music is rhythm, right? So you get into that form, right? It's like with my hands, like So I go. Okay, so that's the connections you guys got to get into. All right, really pay attention to these things when you're seeing these things, observing these things into all levels of sound. So really copy these things because it picks up a lot of things, right? And then you can use that through all structure, right? It's really fascinating when you pick up these things because you never know what you're picking up when you're in light. It's nothing but attraction of energy, right? So it's very, very powerful, and it all comes into the heart, right? Okay. So it's like a heartbeat. Okay. It's like, see? Rhythm, right? So I'm working different ways, different patterns, different interference, different timeline center, but it's a different tone, right? It's not the same tone. See? Different rhythm, different pattern, different tone, different vibration. You have to get balanced with these things. So that's what the audio signals are saying to you. So if you don't understand sonar interference, you're going to get headaches and migraines to that position, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's very powerful. You guys have to really, really get into your heat signature patterns of breathing, guys. That's what you really have to get into. The Kundalini breathing exercises, squeezes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Simulating. Yep. But it is. It's all position. It's just letting go. You know, if you get angry, just release it. Take 5-10 minutes, go outside. Right. So that's one way. There's all different ways. But you have to balance what you're doing. If you're not clocking your systems, you're off the ground line center, and you're not in position to calculations, right? Then you're going to be off signal with the Grothians, the Lothian Greys, anything in that position locations, because they're trying to understand you through sonar. They're trying to understand you through light of travel. They're trying to understand you and what you're doing with sound. You're complicating the situation, right? So it's getting balanced with everything, right? And that's why your ears come in. You know, when the right track and left track, and that's, oh, I'm hearing something, but I don't know what it is. But are you listening? Are you actually listening inside of what it is? Right? So the more you go inside, the more you go through rhythm. Life is about rhythm. Life is about flow. Life is about music, harmony. Okay? It's like, you know, it's just over here, over here, over here. Do 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 do. You know, it flows. Life has to flow, not stagnating. That doesn't make any sense. You don't hear anything. You're in the stand position line center. You don't understand northwest, south, and east or any of that position locations. You're not using anything through audio interference position locations. No wonder you're getting headaches and migraines every single time to that position, right? So really get into the breathing, everything through identifications, right? So it's really powerful when you pick these things up, like two spoons when they clasp, right? This is basically the back of my hand. Vibe, flow, and go. Yeah. Feel the rhythm, feel the vibe, right? So you really have to understand how to use this in all levels. Really get into that. So it's going to help you a long way because you're connected to higher levels of sonar, into higher levels of space of travel. At least you're aware of what you're seeing when you're looking at these things, all through light, all through activation, all through breathing. right? Because everything is sound. Everything's sound. 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 All different. So it's getting balanced with everything. The position location. Right? Even my, flippers. Everything has sound. You guys know that? Are you aware of it? No. So, and you just don't look at these things. It's kind of like identifying everything that position location. I was trying to understand what sound is. And when I break the barriers of space all through audio, and I was saying to myself, wow, this is so cool. I understand the connection to everything through vibration. And it's all getting balance of frequency. Frequency is everything through energy. And once you get into the harmonics, now you're really channeling. You really are breaking down all levels of you now, which is very powerful, guys. All right. So I just wanted to show you what that is. Dogs barking, right? There's other dogs barking. There's 2 or 3 other dogs barking on the other side position. So if you go through perception, you realize there's 4 dogs barking, 2 in one position and 2 on the other line center, right? So you hear 2 on the other side position, but you don't hear them in position location of where you are through the current location. So that's a trying to understand how far is the sound. Is it coming in or is it going out? Right? Is it coming in? Or is it going out? Or is it going out? Where is it connecting? What's the mass, the calculation to and from? Right? See? See? That's the connection I'm trying to tell you guys where you have to stand. Where is that sound coming from and how far? So you have to get that position of his clocking and understand, okay, so get the perception of the avatar and you can travel to that position locations and bring it back to calculation. And realize, oh, that's 2 dogs communicate to one cycle of the rotation to my current location, right? So that's one. Right? That's communication right there, right? Everything communicates, has to. That's the only way you understand position. That's why animals are so informed with vibration, and that's how they protect their instincts and all levels of life. You guys can learn a lot about your animals, animals that you have, anything that connections, because it all lives in vibration, all lives in sound, right? Frequencies, energy, and harmonics. All right. So that's why you love some music so much. Yep. I'm just trying to show you guys what breathing is. Breathing is not what you think it is. And now you get a better understanding what breathing is through activation. You have to identify and see things in a different way of sound. Colorations of sound, lights of sound, intelligence sound, grounds of sound, walls of sound, chairs of sounds, computers of sounds, digital frames of sounds, phones of sounds, earphones of sounds, cars of sounds, trees of sounds, dogs of sound, cats of sound, birds of sounds, all different kinds, atmospheres of sounds. I showed you a frame of weather. Pretty fascinating, right? All different vibration, but it has its balance because I know what I'm doing with my audio. I know what I'm doing with my perception. I know what I'm doing with my activation. I know what I'm doing with my space and time of travel, guys, all through clocking. Okay. So that's what we have to come into, especially when you want to get into weather, especially if you want the sun to come out or if you want it to rain. You can do these things if you understand the operation of you through sound inside. And the only way to do that is to really understand the vibration of you. That's the only way you can connect, right? So. And there's a lot of things you hear every day. Your kids have sound. Yelling and screaming is sound. It's all done through sonar. You know, that's picking it up. So you don't want to copy people. You just want to create your own. It's like position locations when it came into Bruce Lee, where he basically created his own style. But he wanted to use the book as a reference, not everybody to copy what he does. You understand? So that's a true resonance of its pattern right there, understanding the anatomy of the body and how so powerful it is when it connects to that system. It's just the flow. It's flow. See? See, it's the flow, right? So it flows instantly and it knows what it's doing. If it's off signal, it's not connecting. So it doesn't matter. So if I go this way, it doesn't matter as long as I bring it back and protect myself, because I'm protecting this part, right? Because I love martial arts. So I always protect myself, and you never want to expose your neck. So you always have it down. That's what boxers do. They always hide their neck so they don't get chopped here, right? So they're always, trying to find strategies. So if you go this way, I'm going to go the other way. If you duck that way, I'm going to duck down. I'm going to bob and weave, right? So then again, it's 90%. 90% of the mind and 10% of the body, right? So that's 90% of sound and 10% of activation to its body system. So these are the things that you have to pick up. You really get into that form system. All right? So much knowledge, yeah? Well, I'm just trying to help you guys out so you can understand more position to these connections, right? It changes everything in your body, yeah, especially with audio, yeah. But that's the thing. You guys are not aware of these things. You don't pick up sound. You don't really pay attention to these things. That's what humanity doesn't do. You don't pay attention to sound, and that's why you guys are off signal. That's why you get headaches and migraines, like I said. If you protect your system locations, when you open up all the levels of space, all right, you understand what I'm talking about. You're opening up space and time of you through position. And it's all done through sound. Right? It's all done through observation, and it's all done through your voice of command. So, yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, you can watch this back, I didn't think I'd go over an hour, but, it's fantastic how you guys come to that position locations. Do you have any questions or comments? I will be heading over to TikTok. All right. You guys have a fantastic night. Adios.